two people to share what they talked about just now. Who would like to share? I'm feeling it from up here. Who would like to share? All right.
Specifically, body language is something I always look at because it lets me know how the person feels on a certain subject or about me or about things I like. And so it just lets me know what they're thinking.
All right, let's see one down here.
So we discussed that people have their biases about their likes and dislikes that they already grew and developed over time. And so meeting new people, you look at them and see, well, they look like this, or they have an interest in this, or don't have the same interests that I do. So you make decisions and decide, well, I don't want to associate with this person, or I do, based on your pre-generated decision, your pre-developed ideas and biases.
Thank you very much. And I like that word biases because looking at some of the things like age, you might look at your supervisor and say, we're not going to have anything in common, right? But that's a bias that you have without really knowing it, right? That's a surface level assumption. Now looking at the next slide, of course there are a lot of things that we don't consider about someone that we don't know until we build that relationship, right? So we don't know, what type of leader they are, or the past experiences that they're bringing. Some of these things you might not want to talk about in the workplace, right? But there are things that influence your relationship with them. So now I want you to take a couple of minutes to talk about how knowing some of these things and building that relationship that maybe reveals some of these things, how that might affect your relationship with your mentor. Talk.
Once you start kind of going into detail about these little points, you start to really get to know a person more than just their physical features, more than what they look like, just basing them on how they dress in any other way. Once you start kind of getting into detail, you build more of a relationship with these people, and instead of it just being another acquaintance, it becomes an actual relationship,
All the way up here. Got you. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of you. I can't get to all of you.
personality traits, it also becomes much harder to, like if you have like different beliefs or different values, it certainly becomes harder to relate with these people, but the whole point is to actually relate with them, like talk to them and realize that we're all different and we all have differences. That doesn't mean we can't converse.
A lot of differences from the people that we work with, right? But you can't be like my sister. You can't get fired from every job. You gotta learn how to work through it, right?
Thank you, Mario. So, let me talk to you about something that's very important in mentor relationships, and that's reciprocity. You get what you give. So we talked about this earlier about attitude, positivity, and so forth. But you should always ask yourself the question, what am I giving in this relationship? You'll leave your internships pretty soon. We'll have a mentor. Are you bringing a positive attitude? Are you bringing ideas? Are you bringing energy? Are you bringing enthusiasm? Are you bringing like just a stank attitude? You know, hopefully not that, right? But obviously the idea is to make sure you are remembering that there's somebody here who's going to help me. Let me make sure I'm bringing them something that they can use too. So one thing you probably have that they don't have, just as a matter of being younger than them, is knowledge of technology. So a lot of times, you might be the person to help them understand how Twitter works, you know, how to do Instagram and so forth. That could be something you teach your mentor. Never be a situation where you feel like you're taking something from somebody. There's a concept called social exchange theory. And that basically says, we don't stay in relationships, we don't get something out of it. And it could be like a good vibe, it could be whatever, but you have to get something positive out of a relationship, otherwise you won't continue it. So, one thing from my research that I know about mentees bring to a relationship, you might say, well, I'm just, you know, I'm a freshman, I don't start at UT, I don't have a whole lot to give. You do. Your mentee, your mentor, is probably invested in seeing diverse people in the field. So, it's likely they want to see people like you prosper. So it's important to remember that you represent that for them, right? A lot of times in the mentoring literature we know, when people get to a certain point in their careers, they're not going to be a president of the company or president of the university. They're going to be at the level they're at. But maybe you will be a person who goes beyond that point. The other thing is the idea of having a constellation. So you might get assigned a mentor as part of the ULM, right? But you need to go ahead and find other mentors in other places. Professors you take, classmates you have. You get a mentor who's a year ahead of you in college, or 2 years ahead of you in college. People in the workplace you go to. Find people besides the one person you're assigned to say, I have a board of directors. I have who I can kind of connect to. Really quickly, picture of my mentor. That's Dr. Charles Willie, Professor Emeritus at Harvard University. He is in Oak Cliff, Dallas. Yeah! But get this. He didn't go to UT. Because in 1944, when he was ready to go to UT, they didn't take black people at UT at the time. So he went to Morehouse in Atlanta. And it so happens that he was the youngest guy in his class with another guy, a guy named Marty King from Atlanta. Yes, that Marty King. So Martin Luther King and Dr. Willie were classmates at Morehouse together. They came up together, and this man right here has been through so many people. When you go into a room of folks who went to grad school with me, we all have stories to tell about him and his mentor. So hopefully you'll find somebody like Dr. Willie, but you need to have a bunch of people like him or with some attributes like him to succeed.
So just some closing thoughts. This quote says, whenever you're in conflict with someone, there is one factor that can make the difference between damaging your relationship and deepening it. That factor is attitude. So I want you to kind of reflect on this. You guys are in peer-mentor relationships now. So think about the skills that you're building now, and hopefully you can take those into your relationships in your intern. I think Dr. Reddick mentioned the fact that everybody has bad days, and you're going to have some bad days. You're going to have, hopefully not, but you're going to have times when you don't agree, you know, with your supervisor. But just some closing thoughts are, don't think of it in a negative way. Don't think of it as a deficit. When we first started, a lot of you said about that positive attitude, not to look at the negative aspects, but the positive aspects. And you have your own identity, just as we talked about all of those things about gender, age, ethnicity. You have your own identity, and you have experiences that you've dealt with in your life that you can draw upon to get you through any bad situation, really, right? And then you have skills that are the key to empathizing and working with anyone. And I put that in capital letters. You can work with anyone, right? Right? Yes. Okay, so I want you to keep that attitude and bring that into your experiences in the future. Information. We would love to talk to you. Does anyone have a question that you really want to ask? You can feel free to come to us, come up here, talk to us afterwards. We'd love to hear from you.